Hi guys, so we're halfway through January. I hope you're having a good January so far. I know it can be quite a depressing month for some people, so I thought I would do another video with some tips to try and help you get through the month. So today I want to talk about something called the reticular activating system. What is that? So it is a part of your brain. It's a cluster of nerve cells at the top of the brain stem, at the base of the brain, and it has a very important function. So we are being bombarded with billions of different bits of data moment by moment through our five senses. So that's eyes, ears, mouth, nose, touch, and all the rest of it. So we need a filtering system, and its job is to filter out unhelpful information so that we're not overloaded, and to set filters for things that are important to us. Now, where does that come from? Why do we have it? It's because if you think about our ancestors, the cavemen, they had to survive. And in order to survive, they needed to find key things like shelter and food. And therefore, by this part of our brain evolving, it acts as that filter, and it is looking out for those key things for us. Now, how does that adapt into our modern day life? Well, when people say you've got to be careful what you say to yourself and what you think, there's a very good reason for that, and that's because of this thing. It's constantly listening to things that you think about repetitively or say that's important, or beliefs that you have about yourself. So how does this kick in? So one of the most simple ways of saying what the reticular activating system does is your name. For example, wherever you are, if someone shouts your name, you're there, because this is part of it. It's a filter, it's something important, so therefore you are programmed to react to your name being said. And that's actually one of the quickest and easiest ways of waking someone up, say their name, because they're awake. So even when we're asleep, parts of our brain are very much awake. So that's that. I would imagine that a lot of you experience something like this. You've really wanted a particular make of car or something that you really had your eye on, and then suddenly you're seeing it everywhere on adverts, in the street, in magazine articles and stuff like that. And you're like, that's really weird. But actually that's just your, I'm going to call it now RAS, because reticular activating system is a bit of a mouthful. That's that working. So why do we need to talk about this today, and how am I going to help you with this? So what you are saying and thinking to yourself is important, because this thing is listening to you, and its job is to find you evidence that supports and helps you to, I guess, get more of what you focus on. So it doesn't know the difference between positive and negative. So if you're someone that has a belief, for example, that you're really bad at something, not very good at it, then that is a belief and something that it's listening to. So it will then back up that. It will do like a bit of a Google search, and it will use your 4 out of 5 senses. It doesn't use smell. And it will basically do a Google search out here, and it will look for evidence to support what you're saying. So if you're saying to yourself all day that you're bad at something, it will go Google search, and it will say that's right, because you did really bad at that yesterday, or that person commented on how bad you were doing with that, or it will basically reinforce and make you right. So you've got to be careful what you're saying to yourself. Now, you can't just suddenly flip that on its head and start saying to yourself, well, I'm the best golfer in the world, if you're clearly not. Because it will go, well, you don't believe that, and that's not true, because again, it will try and find evidence. So what you need to start saying to yourself is something that you'll believe, but is moving you in that positive way forward. So you need to be saying something like, my golf swing is improving, or I'm getting better at golf every day. And again, it will do its Google search, and it will say, well, that's right, because your swing wasn't as bad as it was yesterday, or someone commented on the fact that your swing had improved. And it will also find you resources. So it will look out for opportunities, books, people that can help you. So it's important to set it. So in the morning, we talked about the fact that in one of my last videos that you're unconscious 95% of the time. So you need to start making the unconscious conscious. You need to start your day by setting some clear intentions for yourself. Something like, I want to make sure that today I have positive interactions with everyone that comes into contact with me, something like that. Now, it's listening to that, and it will mean that all of your unconscious resources are now looking for ways of making that happen. You need to start asking yourself some questions, process-orientated questions, things like, how can I make that a reality for me? Or what could I do today to remind myself to stick to my intention and have those positive interactions? Or you set an intention about a goal or something that you want to get better at. I want to get better at, I don't know, whatever it is you do. And by setting that intention and then asking yourself those process-orientated questions, you're going to be getting all of your resources looking out for you, for things that can help you, articles, people, opportunities. And it's a much better way, because instead of that, having this belief about yourself that nothing ever goes right for me, you're basically attracting those very things into your life, because it goes, oh, well, that's clearly true. We want to make that true. So we're going to make that, we're going to look for it. It sets a filter. So think about a filtering system like this. If you were wearing red glasses, you would only be able to see things that were red, right? So in other words, if your filter is that everything happens to me, nothing ever good happens to me, that's the filter you're setting, and therefore you will be unconsciously looking out for any kind of evidence that supports and makes that true. So you're not going to, and the other thing it's going to do is filter out anything that contradicts that. Have you ever met somebody that no matter how much good stuff happens to them or how much good compliments and things that people give them, they kind of brush over that. But the moment that someone even says something vaguely insulting or bad about them, they're completely upset and like it's had a real effect on them. And that's because they've got that filter in place. So be really careful about the filters that you're setting for yourself. I hope that's been helpful. Just start to be a lot more mindful as you go about your day, and start your day by setting some clear intentions for yourself, because you want to wake yourself up from this unconscious behavior, these routines that you find yourself in. It's the only way you're going to make lasting positive change. Have a good week.